how you can enter that. We also have one of the best guest lists we've had in a long time. It's a very busy show, so we better get straight into it. Owen, how are you?
I'm very well. How are you?
How's your level of anticipation, excitement, fear?
Getting excited now.
What's the dominance?
I was in a state of fear yesterday, but it was Monday. So I just have to fear every Monday, really.
Some Tuesdays.
Today it's more just pure excitement, really. This is the point where you can really enjoy it. It actually, legitimately, is good to be back. It's good to be back in an All-Ireland final, and I'm actually buzzing for the weekend now. I'm in a much sunnier disposition than I was yesterday.
This is the most positive that the papers have been about a Kerry victory, I would say, all year. Suddenly, there's like little bits here. The legends are coming out saying, no, hang on a second now, we're Kerry. Do you remember, is it Jenny O'Connor talking about 99 and the two-time All-Ireland winning champions Clare team festooned with legends in every line of the game up against this team of kids from Cork who've done nothing that whole decade. And Donal Logue in the parade is, "We're Cork!" shouting it. And he's looking over going, "What?" And then it turned out they were Cork. That's what Kerry are doing in the papers all week.
You're saying that it's positive for a Kerry victory.
Oh, yeah.
It's not.
Absolutely.
It's all to do with, if they do this thing, then they might not get hammered.
No, it's not. It absolutely isn't.
It is. It's kind of like, don't rule them out.
James O'Donoghue is Seamus Darby, according to Mike Quirk.
No, he's asking the question.
Jack O'Shea saying, hang on a second now, we're Kerry. That's basically, there's loads of words there, but like, really all he's saying is, we are Kerry.
Yeah, like it's all kind of nice window dressing around this, that they have no fear. They have this blissful naivety about All-Ireland football final weekend. 17 players in the panel this weekend have never even been in an All-Ireland final partaking panel, let alone winning one. So
you don't need to win one to lose one, and loads of the rest of the team have.
It's true, but that is the sort of angle that's been taken, that because they are young, because they haven't actually been here before, that can be seen as a positive. Because they came close to Dublin a couple of years ago, because they beat them in the league this year, there's positives you can look at. Because they hammered Mayo, similar to the way Dublin did.
Beat them in the league final?
Sorry, not similar margin to the way Dublin did. Very different manner of hammering them. In the league this year, there was that game down in Tralee. So they're all the things that people are pointing towards in terms of reasons why Kerry can't be ruled out. Like, you can't just look at Kerry like, I don't know, Tyrone, say, for example. I hate constantly using that example, but I did feel there was an inevitability before the All-Ireland last year.
Isn't there a possibility, though, that Mayo were shite this year?
Yes.
And so that Dublin have beaten one bad team and everybody else they've kind of been grand against, except none of those teams are actually any good either.
100%. I definitely think that that's a possibility. It was just that no matter how good that Mayo team was, I'm not quite sure what they would have done in that 12-minute period after half-time to stop that blue wave.
Kick the ball over the bar instead of dropping it short, from which leads to the first goal.
Well, actually, you just remind me of something. Like I know we're going to get into tactics and into analysis as the week goes on, into much more depth, but I think there has been a little bit of a misanalysis of Kerry so far this year. You know my views on Kerry's defensive system. Perhaps you
think they're much better than
people think. Maybe I'm wrong on that. I'll accept that, and maybe I'll be proved completely wrong this Sunday. I just have this sense that Peter Keane is not as stupid as some people like to paint him out to be. Like the Sunday game studio after the All-Ireland semi-final was kind of funny, really. It was like it was a tearing apart of Kerry's defensive system.
I didn't watch it, so what happened?
So you had Sean Cavanagh, you had Malachy O'Rourke, and you had, I can't remember who else was in studio. It was probably Ger and Eoin, was it? Potentially.
Probably, no.
No, it wasn't Brawley. And basically they were bringing up this very obvious thing about Paul Murphy being a sweeper, and it was like, why is he playing there? He's in the completely wrong position to be a sweeper. And I'm like, I noticed that as well in the game earlier on. Everybody beside me noticed it in the game earlier on. Why didn't Peter Keane notice it? And the answer is he did notice it, and there was a reason why this odd form of defensive structure was actually implemented against Tyrone. And my belief is that deep in their subconscious, they have been thinking about Dublin all year. They have been thinking of how to stop Dublin. And I think that if you have any prayer of stopping them, you have to stop them scoring goals. And I think the way Kerry played a sweeper is different to how any other team has played a sweeper, in the sense that they will try and stop you scoring goals, which was push up on the half back line. Don't sit in front of the full back line. Push up a lot further, and that way you stop the running through the middle of the defence. And I think that's been missed a little bit. That Colin McShane got on so much ball, and he kicked so many points, and he should have kicked more, that people were like, well, he's absolutely given the Kerry defence a run around. And in actual fact, I think that they might have been content to let him pick points off as long as he wasn't scoring goals, they were happy with that. And that's just my hunch on how they've been set up. I just think that Keane is a smarter man than somebody who sets up a sweeper system to be completely ineffectual. He wouldn't play it otherwise. There is a method to the apparent madness that occurred against Tyrone last time out. I just have that hunch.
Sheehan Slam's Sunday game slappers.
It was like analysing a team who'd been beaten in an All-Ireland semi-final rather than the team who'd won an All-Ireland semi-final. And maybe they'll be proved right. There's every chance they'll be proved right because...
It's just an anti-Kerry bias from those Nordies, basically.
Oh, I'm not sure. Has Sean Kevin ever written anything bad about Kerry? I'm not quite sure, actually. I'm not sure if there is any bias there.
Here's what's coming up on the show. Great show for you lined up, and we'll get back to the Kerry Dublin analysis as well. So Mike Tyndall's going to join us around about 7:45 this morning to gloat about England's performance against Ireland at the weekend. Andy Moran has retired. David Brady's going to join us in studio to wax lyrical about him, and we might talk about the big game coming this weekend as well. After that, in the next half of the show, after 8:05, we've got the power rankings. Nico Roach in the red jersey in the Vuelta is going to join us around about 8:30. Got a brilliant story about Andrew Porter coming your way at 8:50, and then looking back at the Premier League stuff from the week as well, and looking forward to what's going to happen for the rest of the week with Phil just after 9:05. You can tweet us this morning using the hashtag OTB AM. We'll get to the sports pages right after this.
Join Off the Ball in Abu Dhabi this November 17th to 23rd for the inaugural Off the Ball Open. With flights from Dublin, 5 nights in a 4-star hotel, golf on 2 championship courses, gala awards dinner, Peter Lorry golf clinic, and a live Off the Ball roadshow. You can also hang out with some special guests, including Kevin Kilban and Kieran Donaghy. The inaugural Off the Ball Open. Book now at CassidyTravel.ie and check out offtheball.com.
Yeah, so the very last few early bird places are still available there if you get to Cassidy Travel. I'm going to start with the Herald this morning. Don't rule out Kerry. Jacko Shea, come on, Jacko. Legend says Jacko insists Kingdom will have no fear facing champions. They won't be scared. So what happens? You lose, they win the 5 in a row. But you're not going to die wondering, going, I need to make this extra run. McCarthy in line to return. Ireland's forgotten man, James McCarthy, hopes to take a big step towards an international return tonight. McCarthy hasn't played for Ireland in almost 3 years due to injury. He is expected to start for Palace in their League Cup tie at home to Colchester. Obviously been coming off the bench a little bit recently. Klopp may take break. Jurgen Klopp has hinted that he might take a break from football when his Liverpool contract runs out. Klopp is signed up with the Reds until 2022, but he claims he could follow the example of Pep Guardiola by taking time out. Just as life gets very good for Liverpool fans, all of a sudden there's this little nagging anxiety that maybe the club era won't last forever. If you're Fenway Sports Group, you're saying, no, you're not, no, don't do that. Just take a 3-month break and come back to us. Take a 6-month break and come back to us. We'll give you 6 months off, you can do what you want, but the job is yours and you're coming back.
Yeah, there is an option on Football Manager to actually go on holidays for a while. I'm sure that's an option in real life football management as well. What would your suggestion be if you took a 6-month break, miss half the season?
Yeah, and come back. And just write that season off for Liverpool.
Wait till Manchester City run away with the title by Christmas and then take your 6 months off, come back for pre-season next year?
Barcelona lost Pep and never quite the same again. They've won 1 Champions League since with the best player in the history of the game in their team. It's not good. While Real Madrid won 3 in a row.
Yeah, and Klopp has been so essential to the culture that has existed at Liverpool that it's a fantastic squad, but he has melded them together and actually got the best from the sum of their parts for sure over the last couple of years, and last season proved that. It would be a nightmare if they lost Jurgen Klopp, no question about it. The question for him is there kind of a sense of conquest about being a manager these days where you need to win league titles in different arenas? Like Jose got the ball rolling, I think, coming to Chelsea and going over to Inter Milan, Real Madrid. There was a kind of sense of this is a truly continental global coach. Pep Guardiola has the same thing going on, and I think there's an appeal to that. Klopp obviously has done it in 2 different places at this point. Winning a Premier League title would be one hell of a way to go out with Liverpool.
Yeah, but he could also be Alex Ferguson or Wenger, and I don't know. Will
there ever be another Ferguson or Wenger?
Well,
is the question.
Klopp could be, right? That's my point. Go on, what have you got?
I've got the back page of The Sun, which is the same story. Cop in fear of a Klopp out. Pool chief eyes up a sabbatical. You've got a money old game here. Charlie Redmond reckons opponents who criticise Dublin's financial clout need to beat them on the field first. So don't criticise Dublin unless you've beaten them. I wonder, would that be the kind of prize for Gavin White on Sunday if he is climbing the steps of the Hogan stand in a very unlikely win for Kerry. That it's like, right now, for the real prize, I've lifted Sam Maguire. Time to criticise Dublin and their financial clout. He says they can do what they want and they can say what they want. The best thing you can do is do nothing. Don't react. Yeah, you're right. And walk away. If you want to stop us getting sponsorship and rewards, then beat us. Then you'll get the sponsorship and you'll get the rewards, is his point. He thinks that Dublin have so much financial backing because they're successful, not the other way around.
Chicken and egg, I believe, is the... They wouldn't be getting all this. I mean, there's a point if the team was rubbish and they wasted the money, then sponsors would be very quickly going, no thanks, they don't want to stick around, right?
Yeah, but like, what is your definition of successful? Like, if they were getting to All-Ireland football finals over the last couple of years and lost a couple, I can't imagine AIG are pulling out. You still get the same level of exposure.
There is another point here in that Kildare and Meath did not get their house in order for the last decade, and that they've not managed to put it up to them since like 2010 was the last time Kildare were decent. 2011 maybe. Like, that's a big county who should be doing better, and they're not doing well because of the money that Dublin gets.
Yeah, like you look
not even like fourth best.
They should be able to do what Mayo and Tyrone are doing.
Exactly, and the fact that they're not is on them, and so there is a bit of the like whining coming from most of the other counties who don't have their houses in order, going, "Oh, it's not fair." Well, even if you did have the money, you probably wouldn't be doing a good job with it because you've no signs that you know what to do with in the first place. The Examiner this morning. I'm here to make a change. Stephen Larkham ready to shake it up in Munster. This is interesting, obviously. Stephen Larkham is one of the most exciting coaching appointments in Irish rugby. And it's going to be very interesting to see exactly what he can do. I mean, we need stuff. Obviously, the World Cup is going to happen, but then we're really all about the club game in Ireland, you know? That's what the beating heart of Irish rugby is, just the club game. The international thing is just a bauble. I mean, can we withdraw from the World Cup? Is that possible? And then the $15 million man, no majors, but a major finish by Rory McIlroy. I think Rory's going to be happy enough with this season. 15 million, yes please.
The back page of the Mirror this morning is, we've been caned. Striker admits Tottenham could have lost too much ground already on Liverpool and Manchester City. Tomas O'Shea is going with the line that it's no lose for a kingdom. It's a free shot for Kerry, he says, and no more to give. Andy Moran becomes the first Mayo player to retire in the aftermath of that semi-final hammering at the hands of Dublin.
You've made notes on Declan O'Sullivan?
Oh yeah, he was actually some interesting stuff. It's kind of more tactical based and what he believes should be the starting Kerry team this Sunday. He's
a really good analyst. The trouble is, I think he wants to be a manager, right? That's why we don't see more of him as an analyst.
Yeah, it seems that way. He wants Tommy Walsh to start, and he wants Jack Sherwood to start, and he wants Jack Barry to start. And he says that he thinks that Jack Barry will be the man detailed on Brian Fenton this weekend. He has to play, and Kerry needs to be able to compete there to get bigger fellows onto the field. For me, Jack Barry starts and Jack Sherwood starts as well, and Brian Howard. So they're a couple of the matchups he's looking at. Talks about Tommy Walsh as well, that I'll be leaning towards starting him. He has such good vibes after the last day. So he'd be making 3 changes to a team that won an All-Ireland semi-final, which would be a big enough change. But then again, it was just a bit of a two-half performance from Kerry on that occasion. He talks about like the goalkeeper for Kerry as well, Shane Ryan. He says, I don't think Shane Ryan is experienced enough with that type of pressure and that type of heat to be going short too often. So he says, when the ball is on the tee for Kerry this Sunday, hoof it. Get as long as possible with that kick out. Don't worry about your short kick out.
Well, then you need Tommy Walsh to be coming out and claiming some of those, right?
Yeah, so like that's
Tommy
part of his
Walsh
point.
versus Fenton, and maybe you break even in half of those?
Well, it will be, Barry versus Fenton and Moran in there and Jack Sherwood in there, and then maybe Tommy Walsh dropping deep as well. So you've got 4 different options going long, and really you're only 2 or 3 of them are people that you actually want to be going direct with. The rest are kind of breaking ball men. So it's one way of looking at it. Like, obviously, Mayo went short and they went long in that period after half-time, and they got destroyed on both fronts. So it's hard to make a case for it to be the wrong option at the same time, because you want the ball as far away from goal as possible. But I always think that that's a very kind of defeatist attitude, that get the ball away as far as possible. But I know that's not what he's saying. His logic is just that the short kick out hasn't been at top level from Shane Ryan so far this year.
Well, has it not?
Hasn't been amazing. Like his kick outs have been good, and they've been getting better, and he is getting better. He is a reluctant goalkeeper. Like, he plays outfield for his club. He couldn't get into the Kerry team last year because Fitzmaurice insisted that he'd play goalkeeper for his club, and he wouldn't because he wanted to play in the forwards for his club. So there has been this kind of staggered process behind him becoming the starting Kerry goalkeeper. So this is his first kind of real season where he's starting to see incremental improvements as a top class goalie.
And does he dribble the ball out?
Sometimes, yeah. He's
are you likely to see?
He got caught in one of the league games. I remember. I can't remember which one he got caught out near the sideline, but he hasn't really reverted to that in quite some time. Like, he's not a Niall Morgan level goalkeeper. Not in this championship anyway.
Is there any chance that maybe that's their super tactic in the final? They suddenly unveil
sweeper keeper,
an extra forward.
100% has the ball skills to do it. He just hasn't been doing it in this year's championship.
Right, okay. It is 7:46 a.m. this morning. You are listening to OTB AM, or you're watching us on youtube.com/offtheball, or you're getting us on the offtheball.com website now.